KBBBL Podcast. Where the extra B is for BYOBB.
Where's my elephant?
Save your whining for when you're on the air, okay?
Welcome to KBBBL Podcast, where we save our whining just for you. And the extra B is for BYOBB. What's that extra B for?
It may seem a bit obvious, but it's for the babysitter bandit. What else?
Horse.
Could I
Yeah,
choose
that's
this
a gimme.
episode?
Or bots. It could be B for bots. Or bots at Shelley.
Yep. You know what? That would have been more clever. I'm sorry I didn't think of that. I will retire with disgrace.
We invite you to call our therapist of the airwaves, Dr. Marvin Monroe. Our number is 555-PAIN.
Our number is also 555-PAIN. Give us a call.
Yeah.
I am your host, Ches Perry. And with me, a couple yellow-bellied rat jackasses.
Whoa.
The cue ball killer
and
and the local boob.
yeah. Dope. I would be the guy who let the bandit go, basically.
Save them triple and then
Boob
let
is
them
like
go.
Boob from your long-term partner, as opposed to foreign boob you might encounter in life.
Yes. Yes,
Oh,
indeed.
my.
And we are here to review Season 1, Episode 13, where we made it, fellas. We made it. One season.
Lucky 13.
Some Enchanted Evening. Yeah. Oh, well, oh, right. I have the written by, well, I can tell you that right now. It's written by Matt Groening and Sam Simon. How about that?
I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's Groening and Simon.
Yeah,
This was the
and
first
directed by
episode.
David Silverman and Kent Butterworth.
Yeah, we've talked about this. This was supposed to be the first episode. So this was the brainchild of the producers, the guys who really created Simpsons, you might say, before the writers' room started to take over and arguably improve on the formula.
Improve. I
I
think
don't know if
that's
that's even an argument, but
No, it's not.
I don't think it's much of a.
for the sake of being polite, arguably.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
let's
funny,
be polite.
Groening gets all the
KBBBL.
credit.
Yeah.
He does get a lot of. Well,
Yeah.
it depends on who you talk to. Like the writers, they seem to give Sam Simon a lot of the credit.
Yeah, there's a lot of creative minds that all came together at the right time. It was like a lightning rod of success, for sure. This episode, though,
with a cool glass of turnip juice.
Let's have a sit under the turnip tree, fellas. What you been up to?
I've got soup, not turnip juice. I hope that's all right.
Very good. We're starting early, so I didn't BYOBB. I BYO my tea again.
I'll explain, I guess, why we're
starting
starting
to look
early.
like an alcoholic now. So because I opened a beer because I thought I had to be in character. Normally, I never drink beer. It's just when these guys get me on the show,
Yeah.
and trying to make me look bad.
Yeah,
You
we've got the
didn't even know what it
animation
was
short
until episode 1 of this podcast. I said, "Bring a beer." He said, "What? What's a beer? What's a
Yeah.
moida?" He said to me after that, and it's funny, I didn't
Moida.
even ask him about the moida. So
Oh, my.
Freudian slip there, perhaps.
Yeah. So I requested we start this episode early because I want to go out. There's a show. A few of my friends are in bands playing at Radstorm, which is an event like they raise money for different music related events around the city. So there's gonna be some punk music. It'll be fun. Good time.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, because Radstorm was just opening around the time I got like out of playing music. It's a little bit of like an underground club, is it not? Like it's not very like
Yeah.
you
It's
kind of
all
got to
ages.
know. You kind of got to be in the know to go there, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, I'm a very cool guy for sure. Yeah.
Little dads up here on the top of the screen. We're just a couple of old dads. We don't
Well,
know
I
about
appreciate
your
you two
rad
old
storms.
Yeah, I appreciate you two, doing an earlier pod this night. But aside from that, a lot of snow. Keeping on.
Yeah.
Just
You know,
working,
this-
man. I didn't have the boy this week, so not a lot going on for me.
So apparently this episode also like really tore up the writer's room. Like, because Groening really wanted to keep it like a sitcom and as grounded as possible, which a lot of the episodes in this first season certainly were. But this one, if you notice, like if you look at listen to some of the sound effects, or notice how like Babysitter Bandit walks, for example, it's like very cartoony. Groening
Yeah, I
thought
was noticing that like when she slams the door, the way the door like warps while she does, like it's really like cartoony, right?
So one of the reasons this was delayed is Groening hated it because he thought it looked like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Yeah. Something like 70% of it was scrapped. They rewrote parts of it. The animation was honestly dreadful. You can see the original animation online, and
And it was considered quite dark at the time. I mean, this is a pretty dark episode, really.
Well, she does tie them up.
She's very threatening.
They're lucky that she didn't do something more serious.
That she didn't do something that she doesn't know what it is.
Yeah.
Say
your prayers, Bart.
Yeah, I have that one actually. We're jumping ahead, but.
Time to brush your teeth, wash your face, and say your prayers.
I mean, we can get into the episode, right? Like, oh.
Yeah, right. Well, I guess that means it's time for a breakdown.
Don't mind if I do.
Let's get into it. Introspection. On the chalkboard, we have, I will not yell fire in a crowded classroom. Of course, as we know, it's highly illegal to do that these days.
Yes. It's actually straight up dangerous. You can cause a human crush. Like if it's in a bar where there's not a wide exit, people could get seriously hurt. So yeah, Bart, don't do that, buddy.
Yeah, you get in big time trouble for that.
that wacky Bart.
Yep.
And the couch gag fake out again. No gag.
Yeah, this was
They just
fun.
sit there blinking at you.
They knew you were expecting something.
Yeah.
Also, this is a long intro. This is like, it has everything. Lisa on the bike. It has the extended Bart on the skateboard where he takes the bus stop. So another sign this episode, like they had trouble putting it together because they had
cut some scenes likely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's get into it here. Hold on. Let me bring up my synopsis. There we have it. All right. So, is this the first Arnie Pie in the Sky? Or Bill Pie?
Arnie Pie.
Arnie Pie.
Arnie Pie in the Sky. He's great. Great character.
So the Simpsons are having breakfast, and they, Homer gets the last donut, and then they leave for school, and Homer goes to work, and they all just leave the place a mess for Marge, and she's like, "Oh, I guess it's just you and me, Maggie." And then Maggie just falls asleep on her. So she's feeling neglected, unappreciated. So then she turns on the radio and turns it on to KBBL, our sister station.
Of course.
I know, right? What are the coincidences?
Exactly right. And of course, Dr. Marvin Monroe's show comes on. Great therapist as he is, of course, has a show on the radio as well.
By the way, Davan, I have a little factoid.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just checked. It is Bill Pie in this episode.
I thought so. Bill Pie.
They changed
Bill Pie in the Sky. Yeah, I thought so too. Arnie Pie in the Sky.
Wow.
Arnie Pie in the Sky. Just sounds more fun to say, Arnie, I think.
Yeah, that extra syllable really helps it out.
When will it be my time, Kent? I want to make the news. He's great when he just like cracks, which seems to happen quite a bit with him.
So Marge calls in to express herself to Dr. Marvin Monroe.
When we were dating, he was sweeter and more romantic and 40 pounds thinner, and he had hair and he ate with utensils.
Oh my god, I laughed so loud when she got to the utensils part.
Yeah,
her voice break.
Utensils. Oh my god.
Utensils.
I was knocking Marge's actress later. She right now, currently, I think her voice is struggling a little. She's, but like in her prime, like this is a good example of how really good she is. Like voice actress, that crack, it's great.
Oh, she's a fantastic actress. So then there's Homer at work, and he's listening to the radio, and he's like, "Turn it up, fellas! I love listening to these wackos." And of course, she's talking about it's Marge talking about him. Of
Pedro.
course, she's not supposed. Yeah, she's not supposed to say that.
It's what I call harsh reality.
I found it.
Your husband sees you as nothing.
So harsh. Your husband sees you as nothing.
It's pretty harsh, yeah.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Francis?
Yeah. What are you saying?
I was just gonna say it's weird that they don't want you to use Homer's name, but you give your own name. Like when they're first like, "Oh, hey, what's your name? What's your age?" I was like, why the fuck would you ask for their who would give their actual name in that, right?
Let me ask you a question, Francis. Why would they pay people back their money if they like failed in therapy in that other episode, right? Like it seems like Marvin Monroe is just not good at his job. He's a bad.
You don't get your money back. You don't really get it back.
Is my voice annoying?
Yeah, he's a Nick Riviera.
His voice is annoying.
You know that it's Shearer, right? Did the voice for and he just hated doing it. So he probably was one insisted on that particular joke. That like, is my voice annoying?
Leave Homer?
Please don't use his real name.
Leave Pedro?
Yeah, that was classic.
Saved though, Marge. She was quick with it. Not Homer, Pedro. Didn't skip a beat.
Yeah.
I love you, Marjorie.
Oh wait, I skipped ahead. I don't want to get that far yet. So then he does eventually say he loves her. Well, we're getting ahead of the game here. So
it's very cute.
Bart, yes. So Homer is at Moe's, the greatest place in Springfield. A dank like no other. So
Moe's
giving some advice.
Dive. This is a dive.
This is a dive. Yeah, classic.
Moe's Tavern.
Is Oliver there?
Who?
Oliver, clothes off.
Hold on, I'll check. Oliver, clothes off. Call for Oliver, clothes off.
Hilarious. It's
Is it
funny.
Oliver
Because
Close? I thought it was alcoholic. Or am I just?
he does both. This is
There's two prank calls this episode.
Yeah, there's two.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Listen, you lousy bum, if I ever get a hold of you, I swear I'll cut your belly open.
He's such an insane, violent person in his deeper mind. He's his threats are always so graphic.
Yeah.
I wish we would have at some point gotten some kind of back.
Yeah, Al. Last name, Alcoholic.
Let me check. Phone call for Al. Alcoholic. Is there an alcoholic here?
In a dank bar like that. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Listen,
I wish there was some point where we got.
If I ever find out who you are, I'll kill you.
No, I can't hear the stuff, man. I can't tell when you're playing clips and when you're not. I just barely.
Well, nuts. You
I can
need
hear them
new
a little
earphones.
better. Yeah. But what were you going to say, Francis?
Well, just I wish at some point in the series we would get enough backstory on Mo to understand why he's so imaginatively violent. Outside of just being a general scumbag.
He was one of the little rascals. That he.
But he murdered somebody, so he was violent before then.
You killed the original
wasn't
alfalfa.
Looked like he was just an orphan owned by the studio.
Yeah. Oh man.
There's Marge at her wit's end. Not terrible stuff.
Yeah, where have we seen this before, huh? Already we're seeing multiple fractured moments with Marge and Homer.
There's 3 really strong ones in this season.
Yeah.
Homer messes up, Marge messes up, and then this one.
We got attempted suicide. A lot of dark stuff.
Wow, that was rough, man. That was insane. And probably relatable
that was
content
insane.
for married couples at this time. My husband doesn't pay any attention to me. I'm stuck with all the housework. He's naive enough to think I worship the ground he walks on. And for a special night, we're gonna go have 5 minutes of sex in a motel.
Imagine Homer with Cod or Battlefield or something. Wouldn't be good. He would not. Yeah. He would just be terrible.
She's right. You are a pig. You can ask anyone in this bar.
What? Hey, Barney, am I a pig?
Barney, am I a pig?
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Yeah, I don't know. Pretty sophisticated sometimes. He's a filmmaker.
Yeah, I know. He does have the sensitive soul of a poet, but he's still much more
singer.
He does.
Yeah.
End of a singer, yeah.
Except for one difference. Once in a while, we can crawl out of slop, hose ourselves off, and act like human beings.
Sometimes we can act like human beings. Yeah.
This is before they developed the storyline that Mo has a crush on Marge. So I doubt later
Midge.
Mo would want to help. Yeah, Midge, exactly.
Yeah, Midge.
Hey there, Midge.
Wouldn't want to help Homer. He'd want to undermine him. But yeah, that's a later storyline.
Yes. He's giving good bartenderly advice this time.
Yeah. Which is, that's what a bartender's supposed to do. They're supposed to serve drinks, but they also give advice and listen to people.
Drunk people need help. That's why.
Yeah.
So, he goes to the florist. He gets one rose because they're like $60 for a dozen. It's like, I'll take one.
55.
Yeah, 55.
Still, even for that time, that's a decent amount of money for.
I suppose so. Yeah, that's.
By the time he gets home, the rose is already wilted, and he got a box of chocolates, and he tells Marge that he loves her. That clip we played earlier.
I love you, Marjorie.
Marjorie.
I love you too.
So
the sentiment is nice, but
Homer
he wouldn't have
him.
done this. Oh, sorry, Doc. Sorry.
No worries. No worries, Marge. So it all works out. He has plans, take her to a hotel and dinner and dancing. Yeah. So now they have to find a babysitter, they realize. That's the issue now. So.
This is Marge Simpson. I'd like a babysitter for the evening.
Wait a minute. The Simpsons? Lady, you've got to be kidding.
They've got a bad name, the Simpsons.
So were these things that actually
underrated?
Because this isn't the only show I've seen this where you call like a babysitting agency and they just fucking send some stranger over to your house.
The agencies were real.
Yeah.
I don't know how popular they are now, but they certainly did.
Yeah. What was I going to say?
Seems creepy.
Nice sentiment on Homer's part, but he only did it because he heard Marge like on the radio have a breakdown.
Yeah.
He's
That's
like,
always
really
the case with Homer,
in
though.
the doghouse.
Yeah. He really, it's like he's only responding when like Marge is already breaking. It's like he should be more actively like doing that kind of thing. That's all.
Yeah. So they're calling the Rubber Baby Buggy Bumpers babysitting service.
Can you say that again?
Say that every time. She's always like, they call her and then they call her back again, and she's just like, Rubber Baby Buggy Bumpers babysitting service. How can I help you? Like, it's pretty great. So Homer calls back this time because they're pretty smart over there in the Simpson household.
Yeah, clever.
Very, very clever. Here we go.
Before the age of caller ID.
Rubber Baby Buggy Bumper babysitting service.
Hello, this is Mr. Sampson.
Did your wife just call a second ago?
No, I said Sampson, not Simpson.
Thank God.
No, I said Samson, not Simpson. God.
Homer's lucky that lady's dumb. Because that's like such a terrible attempt. Samson?
Yeah.
But also she doesn't call him Simpson though. She's just like, did you just call him?
No, he
mentions
that's
what I mean. Yeah, exactly. So
exactly.
He doesn't catch on that he knows who just called.
No.
Fucking
luckily she was very old.
Actually, the Simpsons are neighbors of ours, and we found them to be a quite misunderstood and underrated family.
Quite misunderstood and underrated family. Yeah, I know. Underrated is a very funny word choice. It's like, no, they're one of the top ones. Like, pretty good. So, eventually they do send over a babysitter. They send over Miss Boss.
Nice looking lady.
Played by Penny Marshall of Laverne and Shirley.
Yes, I am Miss Box.
Yeah.
Yes, I am Miss Box.
Good.
Yep.
Good, good little guest star for what was supposed to be the first episode, but instead the closer for the season.
So as soon as the parents leave, it gets her demeanor changes. Let's say.
A little bit.
I said you're gonna watch this tape, and you're gonna do what I say, or I'm gonna do something to you. And I don't know what that is, because everybody has always done what I say.
Such a creepy threat. I'm gonna do something to you. She doesn't even know what it is. Yeah, it's very creepy. And she's menacing. Like, look at this. Like, she's very scary.
Yeah, this is like a horror movie. Some of the parts in this episode, where Lisa's under the table calling the hotline, like that's kind of spooky.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. So yeah, she ties them up. Very sinister stuff.
Yeah.
So
well, Bart tries to drop a bowling ball on her head. To be fair, and Lisa's calling the authorities, but she still shouldn't be tying them up. Not a good point.
Yes, because Bart's getting sick of watching the happy little elves meet the curious bear cub, because they've seen it many a time, but Lisa loves it, and so does Maggie. But Bart gets sick of it, changes the channel to America's Most Armed and Dangerous, where the host is talking about the babysitter bandit, Lucille Botzkowski. Bart calls her Botzukowski, though. He's like, whatever, Botzukowski.
I call it Botticelli.
Botticelli. So yeah, she ties them up, and then the number is 1-800-U-SQUEAL if you have any information on Miss Botts.
Right.
Yeah, he does try to
really
knock her out.
Yeah.
But it's a quick actor. Like, that was good to get that bowling ball and drive.
Yeah, and I don't even think he was wrong, because at that point they had pretty much gotten positive confirmation that was a criminal, and they were trying to protect the family. So like, I'm not gonna say Bart went too far, but he definitely fucked up. Like, he could have done a better job.
But it's one of those things, like, it's supposed to be comedy, it's like a cartoon or stuff like Home Alone. You're like, okay, yeah, it's funny, but like, in actuality, these things would seriously injure and potentially kill somebody.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But, well, knocking somebody out isn't like the movies, right? Like, you can't just clonk somebody on the head and they just
wake up later.
Or if you do, they'll have like serious concussion. Oh well.
So the worst part is she ties them up and puts the happy little elves back on, and Bart's like banging his head off the freaking couch and everything. He just can't stand watching it anymore. So there she is there. Look at it, very creepy. Oh yeah, she tapes Bart's mouth shut because he never shuts up. But fair point.
Yeah, fair play.
Hello, Stephanie.
I think it's a friend of mine. I mentioned I like the Simpsons, I think I mentioned that I have the Simpsons podcast. So hello, we have a viewer.
Oh, very nice. Jumping a little head there. So yeah, no. So things are getting romantic over at the hotel, even though they drive by it once, and like he's like, we'll just take the next exit, and it's like 36 kilometers or miles, I guess, in the States, miles away. But they're having a good time. They're not letting it ruin their time. Ye old off ramp.
The blue thing with the things.
The blue thing with the things. Very alluring.
I'm sorry, I just can't find Marge. She doesn't have any sex appeal for me. I'm sorry.
What?
The hair.
It's just the hair. I can't do it.
Y'all don't have standards quite as high as you.
Exactly, Baker.
Why can't I find a man to hug and kiss?
Why can't I find all of her clothes off? So yeah, Maggie gets out of her crib and she wants to watch the Happy Little Elves, but then the tape ends. So Lisa, being the smart one, figures out this is the way. This is the way. Maggie, would you like to watch some more Happy Little Elves? You have to untie me first. So Maggie unties them, and then they set a trap for Miss Botzkowski.
A great trap.
Great trap.
This is also Maggie. My favorite. I love this Maggie moment. She saves the day. Like,
she does.
The baby was instrumental to save
Maggie's
the day.
Like, in a weird, like, low-key way, she's like a super competent character. Like, whenever the chips are down, like, everything is stuck on Maggie. She always pulls through.
Well, they do say she's smarter than Lisa.
Yeah, she's a sharpshooter. We know that she's an expert gunman.
Like, the whole plan was hinged on Baby, like, luring the bandit into the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like,
all right, with
it's a good plan, but a crazy plan. So
You're the babysitter bandit.
You're a smart young man, Bart. I hope you're smart enough to keep your mouth shut.
He isn't.
he isn't.
No.
That's pretty classic. But yeah, so then they lure her into the room, and it's actually Bart with the soother, and crack, ball bat right in the head. Actually, I think I got it.
Plunk. Teamwork makes the dream work.
It sure does. So, and they tie her up.
That's fitting torture.
So, Marge gets a little worried, so she wants to call home, and nobody answers at home, so they rush home. Bart and Lisa, before then, had escaped and called 1-800-U-SQUEAL, and then told them that the babysitter bandit's there. So the cops are on the way. Homer gets there first, and Homer and Marge, and of course they just think Bart went crazy and tied up the babysitter. So they're just very apologetic, and they untie her, and they're like, "Oh, he's super apologetic," and she's like, "I'll pay you triple." Look at that shot. It's like 3 Homer's mouths. Yeah.
And can we now? This is a good time to briefly talk about the animation, right? The animation for this episode is not good.
It's not good. It does look like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Yeah.
You can find entire like Instagram pages that are just like weird screen captures like that from like the Simpsons face, like some weird frame that looks insane.
Front face Simpsons is a funny one when they're facing in the front of the camera, or side eye Simpsons is a funny one. There's a lot of good ones.
So she's like, I'll take your triple payment. Thank you, sir. You know, she does have all their stuff. He helps. All of their stuff is in her suitcases, and he carries them out and puts them in her car for her.
It's also hilarious
She
how
does a bunch of money.
unfazed they are. Well, they're so unfazed that Bart tied her up because they're so used to his shit. He's just mad because like, well, now I got to pay you more to apologize, but he's not even like, oh, this is insane. He's just like, oh.
He's just riding that post-nut clap. You know,
this babysitter thing comes up again. Like, remember in one of the later seasons, they show one of his old babysitters, and she's like in an institution, and she just rocks back and forth, going, "No, Bart, put it down, Bart.
Put it down, Bart."
No,
it's true. Bart.
he breaks babysitters on purpose.
He's broken a few people's minds. I feel like
he has. So then she leaves. Cops get there. And they're just like, he's like, "Oh my God, my kid's tied up the babysitter or whatever." And they're just like, "Are you saying you aided and abetted the babysitter bandit?" He's like, "I wouldn't say aided and abetted."
It's quite the struggle.
Yeah.
It was a struggle.
It was.
What a goof.
Kung Fu movie.
Yeah. So, of course, Homer just instrumental in letting this person go.
Yeah.
Ruins the whole, the whole thing that the children went through, all the effort they put in to apprehend this criminal. Classic Homer, just being an idiot.
Then he tries to like walk it back on camera. He's like, "I tell you, you ever seen a kung fu movie? It was like that. But now I know her weaknesses. No, you don't try this stuff again on me, babysitter bandit."
Well,
it's like,
even Bart's like, "Oh, Homer."
Yeah, Bart's embarrassed.
He's so embarrassed. And later, Homer and Marge are in bed, and Homer's watching himself look foolish on television, where it says "local boob" under his as his name. And Marge says she loves him the way he is, and that if he has 3 children who manage to capture a criminal by themselves, he must be doing something right. Then she kisses Homer, and she turns the lamp off for bedtime. Lots of heart.
Sweet.
There's some heart in this one.
Well, like you said, season 1, very sitcom-y. Every episode kind of slice of life. A lot of like feel-good moments.
Well, that brings us to our next segment. Give me 1 second. Here we go.
Send in those soulful and doleful schmotes by the bowlful.
They're already here.
It's great.
Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. So, who's your sideshow spotlight tonight, Francis?
I'll give it to Mo. I liked this Mo cameo. He's still not the developed Mo, like my favorite.
Speaking of cameos, hello.
But he's just like, but he's just greasy enough, and they just do. I mean, he's a little less like, aside from yelling at them on the phone calls, he's a little less intense than Mo. We know he's trying to give some friendly bartender advice, but just the way they animate him and the way they do everything, they just make him just
what is it? His little ears, isn't it?
Voice and like it's a good Mo moment. I liked it.
He can't help his little ears. Oh man!
What about you, Baker?
Your cauliflower.
Well, we briefly talked about. It's Bill Pye in this episode. Irony Pye. I love Irony Pye. He's very funny. I love his like manic breakdowns that he frequently has on the air. But I guess I'll shout out. Was it Bill the floral guy? The guy at the floral shop. Very strange voice compared to his animated face. Nice little season 1 goofy moment.
Mine was definitely going to be Mo, but
yeah.
So I'll just give it to Bots.
Yeah, she's great too.
Bots was good.
Does she count as a
we never see her again.
Well,
I think she maybe appears as. Hold on, let me really.
Background or something.
Yeah, I think she.
Oftentimes they do that.
So here we go. She appears in a couple episodes. Like, I remember now. In Bart Gets an F, she's actually one of the people that's joining hands and singing. I think, which is kind of confusing.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
they're probably just grabbing it however many.
Background
Springfieldians.
Or no, it's not Bots. Actually, I got that mixed up. She appears in a wanted picture in that episode, but it's Sideshow Bob. It's Sideshow Bob.
Yeah. We noticed that when we were on that episode.
It doesn't make any sense because he should be in jail. Anyway.
No, isn't Bart? Oh yeah, we haven't gotten to Bart Gets an F yet. Yeah, you're right. He should be in jail.
All right, spoilers, boys. I maybe looked ahead and have been watching some of season 2. It's a great show.
God, way to ruin the show.
This is a Pretzel Town, pretty boy.
Pretzel Town, pretty boy.
What if your family don't like bread? It's funny because it's true. Well absorbed. Get your hand off my car.
Get your hand off my car. So here we have it. Memes with Fat Maddie. Because the family don't like bread.
Really
yeah.
They like memes.
I just did this one because I got a chuckle out of it. And honestly, guys, I was not finding a lot of memeable moments in this one. We'll get to the ratings, really. But it's a pretty mediocre episode. It wasn't really much that I was like, oh yeah, this is like a really Hallmark standout little clip for me. But I got a chuckle out of that, so that's
this was funny. Yeah,
it's not really hard though. Like, do you think they would just say no?
Enticing.
You get T-shirts.
Enticing reward.
No, not really. But yeah, that's a good one. She's gifted. We get T-shirts. Yeah. We're happy with that, though. Yeah, very funny. All right, so moving on to everyone's favorite segment. Well, Baker's favorite segment.
I'm just wondering, what's the point? Would it make any difference at all if I never existed? How can we sleep at night when there's so much suffering in the world?
How can we?
It is 6:34 in Nova Scotia right now. Do you know where your children are? I don't know.
Mine is upstairs.
More or less.
Okay, yeah, more or less. My boy's a box. A box, damn you. I don't know. I thought this episode was interesting. We saw the children, and I guess we've seen this previously, like with Maggie in the bear cave. But this is they're in some dire straits. I know that Homer and Marge had to work on their domestic situation, but they did not fact check very well. And they really just put their children right in the lion's den. So yeah, I guess my point for this episode is take care of your kids. Be careful.
Not even that.
Or true crime.
To their credit, though, you would think these people are supposed to be vetted who work for the service. Should vet the candidates. You should.
But her name is Bots. She just shortened her name. This is like when the Simpsons, like, you're now the Sims. Yeah, it's the same. Like, come on. Couldn't even change. Homer also couldn't come up with a clever name this episode. What's with all the lazy names?
I also might thought during their hiring interview, though, or like when they try to vet people, like the babysitter bandit might be one of the first criminals that comes up in their research at a babysitting company. But
yeah, it's like not like she changed the way she looks. Oh my!
She looks like a fucking bandit.
She does. She's a hard.
She looks
hard-looking
untrustworthy.
Person.
Yeah, really does. All right, where are we at?
So that's the point.
That's the point.
The Greeks knew it. The Carthaginians knew it. Now you know it.
I will teach you.
You're a very good teacher.
Yes, I am a very good teacher, and I can teach you everything.
I love it.
Shall I teach you everything, fellas?
Yes.
I'm a very good teacher, and I will teach you everything.
Oh my god, it's so seductive.
It's so sleazy. Like, I never thought about it when I was a kid, but listening to him now, he's such a sleazebag.
He's a smooth operator.
Well, he hangs out in a bowling alley to pick up chicks and like show off But yeah, so well, here we go. History and antiques. So this episode's called Some Enchanted Evening, which is a show tune from the 1949 Rodgers and Hammerstein musical South Pacific. And it has been described as the single biggest popular hit to come out of any Rodgers and Hammerstein show. Andrew Lloyd Webber describes it as the greatest song ever written for a musical.
Oh my, that's high praise.
So,
from
that is very high praise.
I don't know a lot about musicals, but I know all the names you've mentioned, and I'm like, oh yeah, those people are like respected. So this sounds respectable.
It's like a World War II. It's like the play takes place in the South Pacific during World War II.
Okay. Some Enchanted Evening. I'd love to check it out.
Some Enchanted Evening. Yeah, I'm going to listen to it now, too. The song is a 3-verse solo for the leading male character, Jaemeel, in which he describes first seeing a stranger, knowing that he will see her again, and dreaming of her laughter. He sings that when you find your true love, you must fly to her side and make her your own. So it's very much speaking of Homer's role in this episode. He's just like he has to...
And then I didn't pick up on that. The shores of Iwo Jima.
All through your life, you may dream alone. So that's someone enchanted.
I'm gonna look into that.
Me too, for sure. All right, it's time to rate this episode, fellas. Let's do it. All right, well, I'll go first. So, story. Pretty good. It's like a horror movie. Like, kind of.
The strongest part of the episode is I think the plot, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one an 8 for story. What about you, Baker?
I'll just give this one I'll give it a 7. It's good. It's a pretty good story. It's like the babysitter.
Yeah, I'll go 6.5. Story's probably the one redeeming qualities of this episode.
Yeah,
it's decent.
I would say
the premise actually isn't bad. They just kind of executed it kind of lazily.
Yeah, and it's not an episode that really gives itself to much humor.
No,
that's certainly where it fails. It's one of the least funny episodes of this season, probably. Yeah, I'd probably put it there with the Telltale Head. I'm gonna give it a 2 for humor.
Yeah, you beat me to it. I haven't given anything a 1. I'm giving this one a 2. It wasn't super fun.
I might even go with 3. It's pretty low, but I did have a lot of like little wisecracks.
The most stuff.
The most. When I hear something that just like makes me do my Kerboppo laugh, just like, ha! I had some of those moments. I'll give it a 3.
Just wait.
I'm going to give it a 3 as well because I do think it's at least as funny as Moaning Lisa.
I'm sticking to the 2. I'm sticking with my guns, boys.
That's fair. That's fair. And heart, it does have that, actually. It has quite a bit of heart, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give this one I think I can probably give it a 7 for heart.
Okay, I'm going to lag behind you just slightly and give it a 6.
Yeah, no, 6.
Okay.
Davan's so easily influenced with the scores.
No, that's fine.
Well,
I am a pretty influential guy. What can I say?
You are.
The man who's in the know about the Rad Storm. Of course, you have influence.
What about you, Francis?
I'll go 6.5. It's there was some good heart. I like how the kids have to band together to stop her. I like how, even though he's only doing it under duress, Homer decides to take Marge for that little getaway to try to save their thing, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was all right.
But you're welcome to copy me, but I might actually bump my heart down to a 5, Davan.
Okay. I'm gonna leave mine at 6. What did you give it, Francis? The heart?
6.5.
6.5 for heart as well.
Yeah.
All right. So
you don't see as much aside from like their crime solving ones. You don't see as much of this like 3 kids banding together kind of stuff in the later episodes, right?
Yeah. Well, you and I agree, Francis. It's a 5.3. Baker a little less high on this one.
If I had kept this, I wonder.
Is this the first time someone's ranked an episode lower than me? Because I feel like I'm always like the hard ass.
Well, let's find out.
No, I ranked Bart the General lower than you.
Okay, yeah, no, because I like that one.
I'm surprised actually how low a lot of my rankings.
I like that one more than you guys did, but I like my more throwbacks, I guess.
Well, we're at the end of the season now, fellas. So now this is where we can revisit our rankings and see if we're happy. So take a look there, fellas. See if there's anything you want to change. I'm shocked at how low Bart the General is here.
I'm fine.
It's funnier. I'm fine with mine for now. I don't need to revisit it, but I will say it's interesting. If we look, my highest ranked episode would be Life in the Fast Lane, which is interesting because I really enjoyed Krusty Gets Busted.
Homer's Night
I think Krusty Gets Busted. Maybe I should bump up slightly because I did really enjoy it. Maybe give it a 6 for heart. Yeah.
What one's that?
Krusty Gets Busted. Yeah, I only gave it a 5 for heart, but it can't have an equivalent heart to what we saw with Some Enchanted Evening, so I'd give that a 6. And then I won't fiddle anymore with anything. That'll be it for now.
Alrighty, so that's my favorite one this season was Life on the Fast Lane with an 8. Baker's was
Life in the Fast
Lane with 7.7, and Francis. Yeah, your highest one's a 5.7, and that's Homer's Night Out.
Nice.
Homer's Night Out.
Yeah.
Our combined scores.
It's a real classic one.
Yeah, our combined scores.
With our combined scores, the highest for heart in our combined scores was 7.7 for Homer's Night Out, I believe. For story, I should say. Sorry.
You need to make one of those spreadsheets where that left column slides with you. Not that I know how to do it. I'm just saying you should.
I'll see if cousin Dave can do that. The funniest episode according to us. Combined score was Homer's Night Out as well.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a good episode.
And it was. And heart was easily Moaning Lisa. We gave that one an 8.7 combined on heart. That's a very oh yeah, that one's.
I love that episode for you guys know I'm a Lisa stan.
Oh yeah, and the Marge when she pulls over and just like, Lisa, I'm sorry, I was wrong.
When Marge realizes that her mom basically taught her all the wrong lessons about how to deal with your emotions.
Yeah. Well,
this one will say are just a mess.
First Babysitter Bandit.
Yeah, first
episode.
Bill Pie, which arguably is Arnie Pie, or it could be a relative, but they never explain that. So I'd say they renamed Arnie Pie.
Bill Pie. It could be funny if it is a relative, though. This one first aired May 13th, 1990. We're into the 90s, so yeah.
Oh, man.
So,
wonderful time for all.
So, being the last episode of the season, we're not going to play a game. We're going to pick we have a couple of awards here.
Okay.
Fellas, who's your star of season 1? Who's the star of season 1?
Okay. Who wants to go first? I think I know.
Go for it, then.
You go first. I got to think for a minute.
I think Bart.
You're going for Bart.
The star.
Okay.
I think if you look at the way The Simpsons kind of unfolded in the first season and how it started picking up popularity, Bart was the breakout star, and you can kind of see why in this first season. He's a really like kind of fun-loving prankster character with a heart of gold. Like he's not like a Cartman or anything, right? But yeah, I think he's fun. I think he's good in this season. I like Bart quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree.
Yeah.
I think
Me
even
too.
just from a writing perspective, he's the most like himself, probably the most well-rounded. Homer's still kind of back and forth between is he funny, is he stupid, is he caring, is he, you know what I mean? They kind of bounce him around.
Let's all go out for some frosty chocolate milkshakes.
Yeah, he doesn't have
chocolate
a solid
milkshakes.
foundation, maybe, and Marge is a bit more in the background, and Lisa has some good moments, but she's in the background too. So I'm with you, Baker.
I'm not using her a whole lot yet. Yeah, Bart, I think that's
Unfortunately,
the right pick.
Yeah. I like Lisa, but I don't think she's ever a star, unfortunately, in any season. She's always kind of a background character.
I'm hoping we'll get to some season where we watch. I'll be like, you know what? There's a lot of good Lisa episodes this season.
We'll
and maybe
see.
she can come out, right? But
Now, something I meant to ask during the sideshow spotlight was, who's your side character of the season? Not guest character. That's different. Side character.
Side, so not like a one-off recurring.
Not a one-off. Not a one-off.
Okay.
No.
Do you want to take this one first, Francis?
I'm thinking. Honestly, man, I'm old. The episodes are fading on me. I love Mo and Wiggum. They're always going to be up there. If you can ask me to name one who stands out this season, it's hard to say. Maybe Sideshow Bob.
I was gonna probably pick Sideshow Bob as well.
I'll throw a Krusty in there. There was a couple of Krusty moments, like when he was
there's some good Krusty moments too.
The Jebediah Springfield, when he was like, "Kids, if you find out, I don't care if it's your mommy or your daddy." Like he's just like, encouraging kids to sell out their parents. He's encouraging kids to kill themselves if he goes off the air. There's some good Krusty moments. So
I'm gonna say Mr. Burns.
Yeah, Mr. Burns.
Burns had a couple good ones. Yeah, good call.
And he's a character that doesn't really change. Like they got him down to science pretty much from the beginning.
They make him more refined and funnier inside that framework, but he doesn't really change, right?
Well, the dynamic with him Smithers gets better.
Magnetism.
Yeah.
And more magnetism.
Magnetism. All right, best guest character of season 1. For me, it's Jacques. Easily Jacques.
Jacques is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Jacques. Even though I think he's a sleaze, he's a good character.
Cowboy Bob. Cowboy Bob, I think I have.
Cowboy Bob is pretty great too.
He's pretty funny.
Man made this.
Yeah.
He looked like some kind of god or something. Yeah, he was such a smooth operator. But again, no, it's Al Brooks is just such a good actor, such a good voice actor.
And he's like, if you need to go over there to those people and talk to them before we leave, there's something wrong with it. There's something wrong with all of us.
No, with all of us. All of us.
It has its own
people over there.
Yeah, oh man.
Oh my god, that's a good pick too.
So satellite dish, yeah. That's.
But I'm glad it's good for revisiting these guys, though. We all have different picks.
It is. Who'd you pick, Francis, for your guest character?
Well, I did pick Jacques, but Cowboy Bob's coming. Like, I might have to go with Cowboy Bob. I just love I want to go buy an RV from him. He's not even a real dude.
Yeah. He's also in the circle. Bart gets an F. He's also one of the people that's dancing and singing in the Christmas.
The other great character we kind of left out here in this discussion, and I'm not sure if he would count as a guest character, probably more like a side character, but that's Herman. He was friggin' great in Bart the General.
He was good.
Yeah, he's hard. Yeah. He's hard to characterize because I think he was originally meant to be a recurring character, but he kind of fades into the background. So
he does recur a few times in the earlier seasons. Like he's around.
I
don't think he's ever quite as maniacal as they make him in this first instance that we see him, but he's around.
Oh yeah. All right. Favorite episode. Not like our ratings are different. That's what we think is the best episode based on these different criteria. But what's your favorite episode of season 1?
Yeah.
Here, I'll bring up the list so you can see it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I need to.
It is
I need a
helpful,
reference
but I
point.
still don't think that my highest ranked one is actually my favorite episode because we had the category of animation, which is maybe something we should consider. Krusty Gets Busted, I think, is actually my favorite of them. Like just thinking about it, it's highly ranked for me. But yeah, looking at this list, I have it below Life on the Fast Lane. Also
probably
great.
that or Homer the General. Again, it wasn't my highest ranking one, but like I have a lot of fond memories from that as a kid. There's a lot of like memories, a lot of things that I have like memorized from it, and I like the whole I don't know the pseudo like war movie thing they go after with it, like the knockoffs of Full Metal Jacket,
Cool Hand Luke and Full Metal
Enchanted kind of stuff
Jacket.
they
Yeah.
do. Yeah, like
Oh yeah.
I think for me, God, it's kind of tough because like it's split between Moaning Lisa because I think it's just the heart is just so good, and Life on the Fast Lane. Life on the Fast, but Krusty Gets Busted so good too. God,
it really was pretty.
Yeah, no, it is. I think it has to be Krusty Gets Busted. I think it has to be. That's a great episode.
Children, let me tell you about the Roman philosophy of Stoicism. It says.
So you had what did you have, Francis?
It's a sideshow, Bob, which I ended up going with. I guess I'll go Bart the General. It was that or Krusty Gets Busted. I'll go
be
Bart
different,
General, just to change it up a bit here. Yeah.
All right. And last thing we have here for our awards of season 1, the funniest moment of season 1.
Oh man. I gotta think about this for a second, boys.
Yeah,
off
that's
the top of my
fine.
head, back to Bart the General is the entire like when they first meet up with Grandpa and he takes him to Herman. Just he's so old and crotchety and mean and intense. Like it's like
yeah, not
a Grandpa later
sex maniacs.
Yeah. Later on, you see that in Grandpa sometimes, but they also make him like super pathetic at times. They haven't written into pathetic yet. They go to see him, and he's this crotchety old hardened war veteran who's like, "Let me take you to see my one-armed war veteran buddy, so we can take it to this fucking kid." And he's foul mouthed and he's hilarious.
There's so many moments. I don't know if I can pick just one, but the one that comes to my mind for whatever reason is the Bleeding Gums Murphy, where he's like, "You got to play the blues pretty well for somebody who's got no real problems."
That's great. That is great.
It just cracks me up.
I don't know if it's the funniest, but
playing the blues isn't about making you feel better. It's about making other people
feel worse.
That's pretty great. I like the moment that comes to mind for me is when Jacques and Marge are like bent over on the alley at the bowling alley, and just like that feel. Yes, the alley. Is it smooth? Yes, smooth. Yes, smooth. 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 Yes, very smooth. Smooth. Like I don't know. That made me laugh.
It's a great meal. Like when he's pitching brunch to her.
It's the whole discussion over brunch. So involved.
Is that
I disagree with him.
It's like starts the whole season up. Marge, please.
She's like, you don't get everything you would at breakfast, but you get a good meal. I'm like, isn't brunch supposed to be bigger? Because you're like, hey, I haven't eaten all morning. I've waited till later to eat. That's why it's brunch. So now I'm gonna gorge.
It's like basically lunch and breakfast combined. You have the options from both menus, so it's usually like better, like a superior. So I don't know what he's talking about either.
I'm a breakfast guy. I'll give breakfast over brunch any day. Let me tell you that, fellas.
I'm an alcoholic.
All right.
So I take brunch.
Well, thanks for joining us for season 1, everybody.
Thank you so much, everyone.
We're getting there. It's all uphill from here.
It
literally there was some good
is.
stuff here in season 1, but there was some good stuff here. But it's gonna get so good. We're gonna have so much fun here in these next couple seasons. Wow.
Yeah, 2's gonna be better. I can't wait till we get to 3. Once we get to 3, it's just gonna go off.
Yeah, 3 is where it starts getting just. Oh, chef's
kiss. We don't say anything during this podcast. We just sit here and laugh for an hour while I play clips from the episodes.
We should do
you
that
can find us on
sometime.
YouTube. Yeah. What's that, Baker?
We should stream an episode sometime and all of us just watch it together. That might be fun.
Yeah, maybe we should do that. Yeah.
One of these days. Yeah.
Yeah, we should pick specific episodes to do that with. That's a good idea, though.
KBBL movie night.
You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. You can contact us at kbbbl.podcast@gmail.com. Or, holler at us on the Facebooks. Audio-only version, wherever you get your podcast. Hi, little baby. There's a little baby just walked in on me here. Come here. Proud member of the United Federation of Podcasts.
Does she have two
the
popsicles?
Simpsons podcast.
Okay, no, one popsicle.
Hello.
What?
Hello.
She loves popsicles right now. She goes, pops.
How you doing, Chloe?
Eat it.
Oh, yeah, fuck. I don't
Wrong
know why
child.
the brain wire.
Get out.
Which child am I thinking of named Chloe?
We are a proud member of the
He's fine.
United Federations of Podcasts. You won't believe how quick my rundown's going to be here, Baker. There's us at KBBBL Podcast. There is Hold Up, a movie podcast. We just did an episode on journalism. We watched Network, The Year of Living Dangerously, and Nightcrawler. So our next one will be on TV. We're going to do a Stay Tuned, UHF, and Good Night and Good Luck, I think it might be called.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's about McCarthy era stuff. Also, Super Mater Brothers, they review reality shows, and the Mary Mater Marvel Society, where we review Marvel stuff. Speaking of Marvel stuff, there's me and Andre over at the X-Rated, the X-Men Animated Review Show, where we talk about the much what we do here. We review episodes of that show and interview people from the show. Andre also has Graphic Histories podcast, where he does a lot of long-form interviews with people in movies, comics, all kinds of things. He just did an interview with Michael Chan of the Hellbound podcast.
Nice.
With his co-host Alex Blackburn. All right, later, honey. Okay, bye.
I was calling your child Crandall the whole time.
Crandall? Who's Crandall? Then
He's been making it out of himself.
Then who's Cartwright? You're
Who's
Cartwright.
Chloe? Where's that name coming from?
I have no idea. And there's also Trivial Debates. I was just on there. It was on Love. It was the love-themed episode.
I don't know, you're gonna love how quick this run through is. This is slower than it normally is.
Oh, really?
It's
Well,
fine,
I'm
it's
being
fine,
interrupted.
we're good.
Hi, honey. She's over there being very
fine.
cute.
We're good.
Well, look, we're doing a podcast for your Star Trek stuff. We got all kinds of stuff there. And our many divisions. Look at that. All kinds. Look at that beautiful station there. Little cuters of Trek.
All the colors.
Anyway. And there's also Star Trek Radio Theater. We got one of those coming up based on a Lower Decks comic. Anyway, that's the rundown. Apparently, it wasn't as short as I expected it to be. But
That's my fault,
so it
though,
goes.
not you.
Yeah, I was
Anyway.
always planning on blaming you.
I'm excited for season 2, boys. This is
Me
great.
too.
I've been having a lot of fun. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Have a great night.
Edith says goodbye.
Bye,
Later, everybody.
Edith.
Bye, guys. Bye, Edith.
Time to brush your teeth, wash your face, and say your prayers.
KBBBL Podcast. Where the extra B is for BYOBB.
Where's my